welcome to Girls Game Shelf. This is a paid preview for Black Hole Council by Orange Machine Games. And this is a deduction negotiation game where all of the players are members of the Black Hole Council, and we all get to decide on the fate of 30 different planets throughout the course of the game. Each player has a goal card that tells them what their agenda is for the rest of the game, and they also have an intrigue card that gives them some special ability that they get to do once per game. Intrigue cards are kept secret, and so are the goal cards. Now there are 3 different kinds of rounds in Black Hole Council. There are negotiation rounds, deduction rounds, and the final payout round. In a negotiation round, all of the players will take turns being the leader, and the leader places the planet cards next to the board in all of these spaces. And these spaces correspond to what's on your goal card. Once the planets have been laid out, then the leader flips over the timer, because this is when all of the council members will start to try and decide what the fate of these planets are going to be. Remember, all the players have different goals that they're trying to achieve, and secretly too. Only the leader is allowed to rearrange the cards. So players are allowed to bribe the leader, but the leader can only take 1 bribe per proposal. Conversely, the leader is allowed to try and bribe some of the players to make sure that the proposal passes. Because once the timer has run out, or the players are done discussing the fate of the cards, then players will get to vote on if that proposal will pass or fail, and the majority vote wins. So, if it passes, then players will count up their points by looking at their goal card and seeing how they made out. I would get 1 point for having yellow card in settle, and I would also get 3 points for having a green card in the black hole space. So I have 4 points total. On the influence track, you could only move 1 space per negotiation round. So I need 2 points in order to move the 1 space. I have 4 points, so I can advance naturally. Mind you, I can't hold on to the points that I didn't spend. If for some reason I don't have enough points to advance, then I can advance with coins if I have enough. Now, if I still don't have enough to advance, then I have to stay where I am on the influence track, but I do get to put a coin in my bank. If a proposal fails, then the leader token would get passed to the next leader, and we would try to rearrange these cards again to get it to pass. And if it doesn't pass again, then it goes to another leader for the final attempt at getting the proposal to pass. And if it still doesn't pass, then all of the cards are flipped over, nobody advances down the influence track, and the only people that would get a coin in their bank are the people that voted for it to pass. The next kind of round is a deduction round, and in a deduction round, you get to guess what some of the goals are for one of your neighbors. So looking at the board, for our first deduction round, we're going to guess what the person to our left has in either their settle or tax goals. I do that by looking through my deduction cards, choosing which planet I think they have in either one of their goals, and secretly sliding it over to my neighbor. If I guessed correctly, then I get another coin in my bank. And if I guessed incorrectly, then my neighbor would get to put the coin in their bank instead. In each game, there are 6 different negotiation rounds and 3 different deduction rounds before you get to the final payout round. So you're going to have 6 rows of planets before you get to the final payout round. So by the payout round, you've been moving down the influence track with every round, and for the most part, people have stayed fairly close together since you could only advance 1 space at a time. But the payout round is where you get to try and break away. At the beginning of the round, all the players will reveal their goal cards, and now they get to collect coins rather than points for them. So for example, I have a goal of having a yellow planet in my settle space. Looking at the settle space, I would get to collect a coin for every yellow card that has the coin icon on it. So in this game, I would have only gotten 1 coin for settle, but I get to do that for every single space. So let's see here. I would get 2 for having 2 black planets in tax, and 2 for having a red in the mine, and none for conquer, and 1 coin for the black hole. In the payout round, you can advance more than 1 space so long as you have the coins for it. So using the coins that you've gotten during the round, plus whatever you have in your bank, you can pay your way forward and hopefully ahead of the pack. Because whoever is furthest along the influence track wins the game. And that's how you play. All right, here we go. You ready? Mm-hmm. Boom. Oh, that's wild. That means that it works for everybody where it is.
That's pretty.
Isn't it?
As a leader, I'm going to go ahead and rearrange this in a way that I think would be favorable.
Oh,
and then
please.
you guys can tell me how you're feeling about it. Just a little bit of
Not
that
happy.
right there.
It's not gonna work for me.
Oh.
I just was like, well, okay, I'm going to use the one power I have, which is to move the cards, and I'm just going to straight up move them where it works for me. And honestly, that worked out. I mean, I was leader first, so people were, I guess, more forgiving with that.
And it was already the way she wanted it, and she could make as few concessions as possible and still get her way. That was pretty smart.
How many people want mine to hang out here?
I would like it to stay.
I would like that as well. I think that's...
How many people would like mine to be switched with tax?
How many people would like mine to be switched with black hole?
So I think one of those two things should happen.
You know what? Time's up. I'm leaving it. I say we vote on the way it is.
Okay.
No.
Oh, it's up to
Ooh,
me.
well actually it's not, because even if it's a tie, it fails.
Oh.
Oh, okay, well then I'm just gonna be nice about it.
I didn't feel like as the leader I had as much power as I thought the leader would have.
Being the leader doesn't necessarily benefit you, right? It actually just kind of doles out ideas, and then we have more ability to change things when you're not the leader.
So Iselle, what about switching mine and black hole?
Look, I'm gonna
Tax
sweeten the
and
pot.
black
No, I
hole.
say please keep mine where it is. I am adamant that that is a resource-rich planet that needs to be mine.
But look, red's a prettier color. People want to live in red.
Yeah. It's
Really?
all
Than
nice
a plant? They don't want to live
Yeah.
with plants?
No,
they want
people
to live
hate
in
plants.
An
They
ore?
eat them.
You're crazy.
That makes
Wait,
no
Melissa,
They don't
sense.
eat
what is it
rocks.
that you want to do? You want to
I want mine to stay where it is.
I'm gonna keep mine where it is, even though it's not really what I want, because I'm afraid of Melissa.
Okay, well, what are you going to do for the rest of the council that's unhappy with
Nothing.
that, though?
I'm not gonna do anything
All
for
right,
them.
cool.
Well, wait. Before the clock runs out, could we switch tax or settle and black hole?
That wouldn't hurt anybody, really.
No,
I
I'm
could
not
switch
for
that
that.
on black hole.
If it
I'm
would
for
help-
that.
if
I would
that
pass
help
that.
someone?
That's fine.
As soon as I was able to make an allegiance with someone else and get what I needed because they needed to say the same thing, it always turned out that they also could marry themselves to someone else and leave me by the wayside.
Look at the person to your left and try and figure out what one of their cards are for settle or tax. Lily, I kind of forgot everything that you've done.
I know.
I definitely have forgotten to, so I'm just going to
Okay.
make a wild guess.
All right, so everyone look at your cards.
Okay.
You get a coin. I never guessed right during the deduction rounds. I would be so into the rounds that I would forget that the deduction rounds are another place where you could make money, and I just sucked at that.
I will say I gave myself away pretty blatantly. Like, Lillie knew when Lillie guessed and when Iselle guessed during those detection rounds, they knew. They just knew. I wasn't being coy about the fact that I wanted black hole to be yellow and I wanted to settle blue and stuff like that.
I want the council to know that I am pretty happy with a lot of these cards. So if there's something that is truly bothering somebody right now, please. I liked being the leader because I had a modicum of control when it got to be my turn, because I could just kind of say, look, this is what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do. Nikki, how are you feeling about this, about
I
to switch
I
these
don't
two?
know. I don't
I
know
really
about that.
would dislike that a lot.
I
I would
would
like
like it
prefer
very-
things those two to stay
I
where
mean,
they are.
I really didn't get a lot of help last time, and I'm if this doesn't happen,
Here's what I'm
it's
going to
really
do.
the only thing that helps
Here's what I'm going to
me.
do. So, Nikki, I would like to offer you this coin, because I know that this is not necessarily what you wanted, but I'm hoping that with this coin you're still going to be able to advance your agenda with your constituents.
Yeah, but see, I'm one behind. This is does not make me very happy. I mean, I can take your money, but I'm not for that plan.
Well then, Melissa, I would like to offer you this coin in good faith, so that the rest of the council can, be happy.
I mean, this, I mean, I just want these switched,
I don't know.
or
I'll tell you what.
know,
I'll tell you what. I'm not going to bribe anyone, but I am going to switch these two to make you happy.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah,
But
wise.
then that just really sucks.
Why?
I'm not a fan of that.
I'm
But
sorry. I did try and bring you in on the negotiation.
All right, timer's up. So.
Timer's up. This is what we got. Pass or fail.
I don't know.
Oh, wait. I don't get to vote. I'm sorry.
I don't like any of these plans you guys came up with. So let's just say I feel like I had the outlier card that was very difficult to negotiate with others.
At any moment where one council member was truly unhappy, I noticed that the rest of us would be like, okay, how could we fix this? And in most cases, we could appease somebody or make nice enough so that, there wasn't an all-out war between the council members.
And sometimes I really felt it gelling, like there were moments for me of clarity where I was like, this is how this is supposed to work, this person's getting this and I'm getting over here and it's not quite perfect for me, but I'm getting something out of it and someone else is getting something out of it, and we've got a consensus here where it's not perfect for anyone, but it sort of works for everyone. Or everyone except Niki.
We started being able to kind of ride the negotiations a little bit easier. But it did get heated sometimes. Zitha, here we are. We're moving along.
Okay.
Okay.
We're almost at the end.
We're almost at the end here.
is this
Here
mine?
we
Is
go.
How many do you have?
You love being in charge.
I think it's mine
Favorite
because I
thing.
haven't read one of those.
I would like to submit to the council that I am thoroughly unimpressed with this entire arrangement.
I would agree with that.
I'm mostly unimpressed with it. However, I do like the idea of conquering that green planet. So let's just keep that steady, and then you can adjust however else you see fit.
I don't hate that. No.
I want the yellow planet to go upseas to settle.
No, I like
I
that
can
we're settling
settle
on
the
blue
yellow
planet.
planet.
I'm telling you, blue planet, Earth, oxygen, water, good atmosphere.
Here's the thing. I'll be frank. I gotta move. I'm at the end of the pack.
Listen, Frank, I think keep it. If we're not gonna move that mining to that black hole, then we should just.
I think we leave it as is. I
Leave
vote
it.
for that.
Well,
I like the way it looks.
I'm not going to be too happy about that because, see, I have some coins, but I need something here to help me advance.
Here's the thing, and I'm trying to put my money where my mouth is here. As the only person who's willing to exchange funds for movement here, I think we just leave it, right? Except for we put the yellow planet where the mining is, and then we keep everything else exactly the way it is.
No.
Oh, no.
No.
I would totally fail that because that takes everything good away from me and nothing.
But Melissa and I have the relationship here. We built
I
over
understand,
time.
but
Christina,
I'm
just
going to fail the
But
crap
see,
out of
there's
that.
more of us in the
Understanding.
council who
Yeah,
are on
I'm
the
not-
same page. I'd like to just leave things as they are.
Leave it as they are?
Yes.
No, I'm okay.
If we switch these two, I would be fine.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah?
I would not
Yes.
like that.
3 of us are cool with that.
How many people are okay with switching this and this? Okay, it doesn't hurt me. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch. I think that gives everyone a decent consensus. You can keep this.
Super fail.
Okay.
Didn't accept your.
Oh, Niki.
I felt so bad. Like nothing was ever working out for Niki. And there's a part of you that wants to help her. You're like, oh, how can we do this? But then she'd say something and you'd be like, okay, that works for me. And it wouldn't work for anyone else. And eventually it comes down to what works the best for me. It always turns back around and becomes like a very selfish thing.
Because I really wanted to help her, but then she wanted stuff that was just crazy. You just got to make it pass. And if one person isn't happy, it's kind of like, ooh, I'm sorry.
It made me really, I was a grumpy council member. Future gameplay, I will exact my revenge on everyone else.
So this is the end now.
So,
So-
now we cannot be get these.
Yes, now we count up our monies.
So I'm.
Oh my God,
Get
is that-
that much. Like,
I played so hard, guys. I've never been. So I'm really excited. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
6.
20.
Whoa! Oh my god!
So
So
she wins.
yeah, you're here.
How did you get that much money?
I never win. This is like the only time I'll ever win anyway. I think I had 20 coins at the end. I know. In real life, no coins. In this game, 20 coins.
What was that out of nowhere? I look over there, she's got like 1 million coins. Like, I don't remember her collecting coins at any point. I don't remember whatever.
Iselle is kind of the token player that's like, I don't really know how to do this. I never win anything. And she like has 1 million coins at the end.
Ugh, I thought I had been doing so well because I kept like advancing in influence every time. I was like, don't mind me. I'm going to move forward now. But then at the end, I had nothing. I was just like, oh, I guess you can't be influential and broke. Good job.
Compromise helped me win. And that's a life lesson.
I think my favorite thing about this game was the end where everybody reveals their goal cards and you could see what you've been working with the whole time. It was just kind of like, oh, no wonder you always wanted to, okay.
I like when a game becomes transactional so that if I don't get my way, if I can't use the money in one way, I could actually also use the money to bribe people, which I didn't do, but I liked that was a possibility.
So as the Girls Game Shelf resident person who doesn't understand how games work, I am usually very confused when we're playing board games and just kind of going along with it, seeing what other people are doing, learning as I go. But this was digestible and easy to play, and I understood it, and I was able to contribute.
I was super jazzed about this game when I heard about the premise. Like, we are deciding whether to destroy planets in a black hole. It just like brought to like these like Superman feelings and like Krypton exploding, and I was very into like Superman's my favorite set of 1970s movies or whatever, so I was like super on board.
I liked addressing people as my fellow council members. There was something about that was really fun. It was fun to play with. Especially when you're arguing over imaginary circumstances and creating new truths within your group about, you know, what certain planets represent.
My favorite thing about the game is that it doesn't feel very repetitive. Even though you're doing the same action over and over again, the difference in rounds or in cards where you're stacking up different planets made it feel like a new experience every time. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps you engaged.
I was really surprised that I won. I never win anything. Like, nothing. I won one.
Thank you so much for joining us. That's our show for today. Check out Black Hole Council on Kickstarter and at Orange Machine Games. The websites are below, and we'll see you next time on Girls Game Shelf.